Look, I pride myself for keeping it real. Now let me be real. Okay, this is not a fact, but if it could be proven, I bet you there is no human being excited about the Mizuno Neo Vista than me. In fact, 2024 Daily Trainer of the Year for me was Mizuno's Neo Vista. This one, and this one, and this one. You get where I'm going with this. 2024 Daily Trainer of the Year. So it's gonna be very hard to top this and beat it. So when they say they're launching a new one, boom. So I did a few runs in this, including Cambridge Half Marathon. I've got a few opinions. So when the launch happened and they said, Aubrey, we're launching it over in France, come along. I said, say no more. I'll be right there. My review of Mizuno's Neo Vista 2. Now, there's always the question, Aubrey, they took you to Osaka, right? They've been sending you all these shoes. They even took you to the launch in Paris. Are you really gonna tell us some things that not just you being all nicey-nicey to Mizuno? Yes, so much so, I'm gonna start with that. And to me, I think there's one big problem with this shoe. Let's start here. Back to the mystery colorway. Right. I go to Osaka Marathon and they give me this, a 9.5 UK. And I think it fits all right. Mate, you might want to size down on this one. It's similar to the experience that you had with the Neo Zen. I'm like, really? Right. So for me, I find this to be a big problem across Mizuno shoes. Now the reason why I say that's an issue, don't worry, I'll introduce myself in a second. These are one-piece booty upper shoes. You therefore don't have much leverage or margin to get the sizing wrong. If you get the wrong size, the whole experience here is lost. All of what Mizuno's worked for is lost because you're gonna have stability issues, you're gonna have fit issues, not much leeway in terms of adjusting and getting the right fit because it's a one-piece booty upper. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that establishes some sort of credibility and integrity to you guys to now watch the rest of this review. With that said, my name is Aubrey. I'm a very average runner, simply trying to be less average by the day, and I'm good with being me. At the time of recording this, you guys have given me 22,500 subscribers. That's a lot of subscribers. It's a lot of people listening to what I have to say. I sincerely appreciate that. Anyway, we said we're gonna talk about the shoe. Let's start with the 3 things that you should know. Now, I'm gonna be outright. I don't know what the launch is in terms of price, but it's gonna launch on June 4th. You should be able to get this. If you're watching this after, that means it's out there. This is a different size, and it's coming in at 280. And it's that 9.5 versus the 9. It's important you note that. In terms of the stack height, I promise I'm not gonna mention 0.5 millimeter of stack on any more of my reviews. It's 45 millimeters at the back and 38 at the front, giving you that 8 millimeter drop. They haven't changed that. It's the same from the one to this one. And we're gonna start from the heel and work our way down. Significant change at the heel. There is a practical change in version 2. If you look at it on this side, this thing here is mirrored on the inside and it does give your foot a bit more of a secure hold. That actually adds a lot more structure to your heel. Because this is a one-piece upper, if not done right, your foot's gonna be moving all over the place. So they've added elements. Well done for that, Mizuno. It's actually a change you can feel. I don't just want to read changes on a spec sheet. This you can actually feel. Well done. It does have a heel tab. And also, if you look, there is both a front and a back. I want to say front and back heel tab. It's not going to be called a heel tab when it's on the tongue, is it? All right, fine. Heel tab over here, tongue tab. We've invented a new term, tongue tab. Yeah, laces. All right. I think this is the best you can do with one-piece uppers. Well thought out. It's the same in the Neo Vista 1. As the saying goes, if it's not broken, stay away from it, bro. Don't fix it, right? They haven't fixed it. In terms of the laces, happy with the laces. There is nothing special. I'm not writing a letter about it or a poem or a song about these laces. They do what they need to do, right? The tongue. Here's what we need to talk about. If you get the wrong size, this is gonna be very annoying for you. I wanna show you something. Just naturally, without me doing anything, I want you to look at these laces, okay? If you look at the tongue on this shoe here on my left, you're gonna see it's crimpled at the top over there, and this one isn't. And that is the function of putting in a shoe that is slightly oversized. The tongue bunches up, and when you tie it down, that's not gonna feel good. Get the right size and it fits flush, flat on the top of your foot. That part is what I'm talking about, the sizing here. The upper has introduced more elements to it that adds to that security. You're gonna see slight changes to the front in terms of how close together that knitting is. When you look at the other section, the whole section of the uppers, you're gonna see it's much more breathable on the version 2. Aesthetically, I also like this logo, the sparkles, the glitter. I don't know, that glittery effect, the shine in it. I love that. It really does give it a swanky look, and I'm excited to see what other colorways you're gonna get. Now, the star of the show, the midsole. One of the best foams I have running is this one here in the Neo Zen, okay? In the Neo Zen. Now, the Neo Vista, the first one, has this foam called Mizuno NXT. I like to say next, right? Honestly, it worked great. I loved it, and I loved it for that foam. And then I experienced the iteration that's in the Neo Zen. Amazing. It's further made amazing by the fact that the Neo Zen doesn't have a plate in it. So the Vista, that is a nylon plate, okay? It's a nylon plate. It's not as aggressive as a carbon plate. So when you remove that and you're left with the NXT foam, yes, it is squishier, it is softer. However, it's a different type of NXT iteration in the Neo Zen. So what Mizuno has done to maintain the stability, it's a dual foam setup in the Neo Vista 2. They've maintained the first version, which is the bottom layer. Okay, that maintains the stability. What you don't want to do, and I got to see this as well at Mizuno HQ, you don't want to have two very squishy foams because that is going to be one heck of an unstable shoe. So they've maintained the slightly firmer version of that foam at the bottom, put the plate on the top, and then the squishier Neo Zen NXT goes on the top, and that's what's closest to your foot. Hope that makes sense. That is the makeup of the Neo Vista 2. Now that is what I was referring to as the touch Mizuno has done to make the shoe better. All right, let's move on to the outsole. Two things have changed that you need to know. One, the thickness of the rubber that's here, love it. The Neo Vista 1, I had no complaints at all. It's a very good outsole, and it's the same outsole. If you look, you're gonna see it in the Neo Zen. Like again, it's not broken. They didn't fix it. They put the same one in the Neo Zen. But they've added a bit more to that rubber. That's gonna help us because when you're shelling out all your money, you want your shoe to stick around for quite a bit. So that adds to the durability and the resilience of this rubber. The other thing that's worthy of note, these outsoles don't have these lines that go in across. See that? That adds a little bit of flexibility this way, and I think it's a nice touch. But to be honest, practically, I'm not doing anything stupid that way. But when a shoe is intentionally shaped to have this rocker, this geometry, which Mizuno called smooth speed assist, that rocker, you want your outsole to also have the algebra, the makeup, what other complicated words I can use, anatomical outline to be able to give the shoe that flexibility. And that's all that is. But it's important. The only thing I wanted to flag is that increased rubber, they've changed some of these to add a bit more of that flexibility. Use case, and I'll explain why in a bit, why it's better for someone like me. If you run like me and you're not one of them doing workouts, intervals, a super fast pace, what I'm about to say won't apply to you, okay? However, if you run like me, I'm talking if you're at 5 minute per K pace, you're giving it a good go. Or your intervals never do anything past a 4 minute per K pace, I'm telling you now that this is a shoe you can do your interval workouts in, you can do race day, you can do all of your fastest stuff in. If you start pushing it and you're one of those faster runners, this ain't for that. This is gonna be good for your easy runs. It's gonna tempo threshold. Once you start doing the faster pieces, I would look at something different. But if you run like me, promise you now, I'm about to start doing the super longer runs. It'll be done in this shoe. About to start doing some super hardcore speed work. It'll be done in this shoe. It's as simple as that because of the type of running I do. I hope that kind of tells you. Now here is the part of my review actually worth watching. Should you get this shoe? Now, it depends. For me, do I think the changes they've made to the foam, the added features of that heel, the outsole, is that worthy of an upgrade? Only if your Neo Vista requires replacing. If you could find a Neo Vista 1 even on a deal, depending on how much of a deal, man, a Neo Vista 1 doesn't miss. It does not miss. It's simple as that. Neo Vista 1 does not miss. If you run like me, that's the shoe I go with all the time. However, if that's out, shelf life is done, absolutely. The Neo Vista 2 is that shoe. Do I think it's gonna be daily trainer of 2025? I'm yet to see. But I must tell you, in terms of a daily trainer, Neo Zen is taking over. And that's simply because this doesn't have a plate. And I like the plush, smooth, cushy feel that I get from the Neo Zen than the Neo Vista 2. That's just me. I'll see you in a bit.